Korban Pesach Perek Aleph Halacha Yutes. Shochach, if you forgot, v'lo sakin, you didn't bring a knife. Lo yiviyenu b'Shabbos, you can't bring it on Shabbos. We'll go down to the Peirush. Elo noisno, where do you place it? This is the knife. Ben kane keves between the horns of the sheep, or bitzimboy, or in the wool of the sheep. That's if it's a sheep. Obviously, if it's a goat that doesn't have that much hair, you have to put it between its horns. Makishoy. And he makes it go the way he wants to by giving it directions in a way. So he comes to the Azor, and he makes it Hegdish only there. Even though you're not allowed to have an animal carry a burden from you and direct it. Shabbos on Shabbos, it says a Torah. This is not the normal way of doing it, and it's considered a change, and therefore, because of the mitzvah, it's permitted. Even though Shchitas Pesach is only with a kli, shores, usually after you have a special kli, not your home knife. Taisus writes that he was sanctified the sakin in his house. And that's Rabbeinu Ephraim is that you don't even have to sanctify it. You can do it with a regular knife because it does not require a holy knife. The Achronim later commentaries question, it says each one brings from this house a knife. Why there's lack of knives in the Azor? And Bechsam Zoev explains that the place of the slaughter where you slaughter the animal is considered red hot, boiling, and therefore, if the animal would be found to be treif, the next animal that was slaughtered would also be treif because you have to cleanse or kasher the night before you can use it because of the blood that's embedded in the knife that it absorbed. And therefore, you can't do that on Shabbos, and therefore you can't use one knife also from in Pesach from one group to another, because in Korban Pesach everyone has to eat only from his own animal, and it will slaughter with a knife of a different animal. Then the blood of the Pesach of the other's animal will enter into his Korban Pesach. Therefore, each Chabura has to bring its own knife, and so Rabbi Menachem Zeb is of the same opinion. Now, the Lechem Mishnah points out that the rule in Shvus Migdosh that there's no rabbinical edicts in the Migdosh is only when you can't do it from before Shabbos, as we know in the previous halacha. And we see by the knife, it's you can bring it. Why? You could have done it yesterday because it's not the regular way of bringing it. It's with a change, or because this is a mitzvah that is necessary and it's part of the mitzvah, and therefore he doesn't mention that this has to do with the rule of there's no rabbinical forbiddenness for something that could have been done yesterday in the Beis HaMikdash, because here you could have brought it yesterday to the Beis HaMikdash. Marach Abulafia disagrees on the Lechem Mishnah, and his opinion is that the Beis HaMikdash it would be permitted a shvus, a rabbinical forbiddenness, even if you could have done it from Erev Shabbos. And here, why he has to give a reason that you can bring it, that it's not the normal fashion, or because of the mitzvah, is because the bringing of the animal and the knife is from beyond the Beis HaMikdash. It's not in the Beis HaMikdash proper, and therefore you can't say that it has to deal with that which has to do in the Beis HaMikdash. When is this stated that you can bring a knife? When he didn't make the Rambam says b'shaloi higdish peschoi adayin. He didn't make it hegdish yet, so you can use the animal to carry a knife. Lo yom hazeh pesach. He didn't say this is my pesach. If he said that he bought an animal, he knows he's going to make it pesach, a korban pesach, but he didn't say this is a korban pesach. It doesn't become kodesh. Lo yavi sakin olav. Then you're forbidden to bring a knife on it. Because you're working with Kedoshim, which is a forbidden thing to do. We continue on the next page. Why was it permitted to sanctify his Korban Pesach on Shabbos when it happens on the 14th? Chachamim forbade that you do not sanctify, you do not sanctify animals. You don't say this should become, the value of this should be for Beis HaMikdash, and you don't set aside this item for the Beis HaMikdash on Shabbos Yom Tov, because it looks like you're dealing in business. So Rashi explains that Korban Pesach is an obligation on that day. It's mutlaq disha b'Shabbos, and therefore we're allowed to do it because the people see that it's not to sell it. You're doing it for that day to slaughter it. So too, a person can sanctify chagigosoy that was brought on a regular era on Yom Tov. It was brought for the Chag. That's why it's called chagigosoy, the festival offering on Yom Tov, but not Shabbos, because you can't bring a chagiga on Shabbos. She's not worried. It doesn't have to worry about Hegdish, Kodshim Yom Tov, as it says in the Gemara in Psachim 66b. And we'll learn the last halacha in Perek Aleph. Hasheret is a Pesach. Somebody who slaughters the Pesach, and it's found to be a balmum, or a treifo, or a treifo. He has to slaughter another one. Bein Mechol, Bein Mishabbos. It doesn't matter whether it's weekday or Shabbos. Afeilu Meyo, even 100 ze'achazeh, one after the other. Shoichet v'hoilech, he continues to slaughter ad she'yichosher echod, until one becomes kosher, or ad she'tershach, until it's too late to slaughter because the sun has gone down. In the Mishnah in Psachim 71b, it says that if B'Shabbos it became a balas mum after the shrito, he has to bring it was found to be a balas mum, it had a blemish, so then he did something wrong. You're chayav achatas because you slaughtered something which you weren't allowed to. But if it was found to be a treifo that you couldn't know about, then you're potter because you slaughtered with permission. Now, what happens to a person who couldn't bring till at night? He's pushed off to the second Pesach, Shari Onusu, because it's an accidental thing. It's something beyond his control. Now the Achronim question, the halacha that looks extra, even on Shabbos it's poshet, they have to bring another one because Pesach was derech of Shabbos. Furthermore, this is on all the kabbonis. If it becomes nifsal, you bring another one. Why does he say this only by Pesach? Now it could be with difficulty we could answer that the Rambam is talking to tell us that even if they finished all three groups, and even though there's time left, then it's still considered oinus, and he doesn't have to run around. He can wait casually till Pesach Sheni.